God says, "My child, before you allow fear or anger to rise in your heart, pause and breathe deeply, because this message is not meant to create panic, it is meant to awaken awareness, and awareness is a gift that protects you quietly without creating chaos." There are moments in life when clarity arrives not to hurt you but to strengthen your discernment, and what you are sensing lately about certain energies around you is not imagination, it is intuition becoming sharper. You have felt subtle shifts in conversations, slight inconsistencies in behavior, and small patterns that did not align with words being spoken, and instead of reacting immediately, you observed quietly, and that quiet observation has given you strength. Archangel Michael says there are people who can smile warmly while carrying unresolved insecurity within themselves, and insecurity often expresses itself through subtle competition, hidden resentment, or quiet disloyalty, but understand this clearly: their behavior does not define your worth, it only reveals their inner instability. You may have trusted deeply because your heart is sincere, and sincerity sometimes assumes the same purity in others, yet growth requires balance between kindness and discernment. This message is not about exposing a dramatic villain, it is about strengthening your ability to recognize patterns calmly without becoming bitter. God says, "My child, betrayal feels heavy because it touches the space of trust, and trust is sacred to you. You give your loyalty fully. You defend those you care about. You celebrate their success. When that loyalty is not reciprocated, it creates emotional confusion more than anger. But confusion is clearing now. The clarity you are gaining is not to push you toward confrontation, it is to guide you toward emotional independence. Emotional independence means you no longer rely completely on external validation or approval. It means your peace does not depend on someone else's behavior. Archangel Michael says discernment is different from suspicion. Suspicion creates anxiety, discernment creates calm awareness. You are not being called to accuse anyone or to search obsessively for hidden enemies. You are being called to observe energy carefully, to notice who supports you consistently and who only appears when convenient. Support is consistent, not seasonal. Loyalty is steady, not selective. This awareness strengthens your boundaries without making your heart cold. God says, "My child, sometimes people betray not because you harm them, but because your growth reflects what they have not pursued within themselves." When you evolve, insecure individuals may feel exposed. When you progress, insecure individuals may feel left behind. Instead of growing with you, they resist quietly. Their resistance is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to remain aligned with your integrity. Integrity protects you long before confrontation becomes necessary. There has been a quiet shift in your life recently. You are less eager to please everyone. You are less desperate for approval. You are more selective about what you share. That shift is not isolation, it is maturity. Maturity teaches you that not everyone deserves access to your plans, your dreams, or your vulnerabilities. Access is earned through consistency and honesty. Archangel Michael says the truth about who truly stands with you is revealing itself gradually, not through dramatic exposure but through subtle confirmation. You are noticing who checks on you without needing something. You are noticing who listens when you speak. You are noticing who respects your boundaries without complaint. These are the individuals aligned with your growth. Focus your energy there. God says, "My child, release the need to know every detail or every name." Sometimes the greatest protection is quiet distance rather than public exposure. Distance reduces drama. Distance increases clarity. When you step back emotionally, patterns become obvious without emotional distortion. Let actions reveal truth over time. Do not allow disappointment to transform into bitterness. Bitterness shrinks your heart. Discernment strengthens it. You can remain kind while being cautious. You can remain loving while protecting your peace. Protection does not require aggression. It requires awareness and boundaries. Archangel Michael says your strength has always been your resilience. You recover quickly. You learn deeply. You adjust wisely. This situation is not here to weaken you, it is here to sharpen you. Sharpened awareness improves decision-making. Improved decision-making strengthens your future relationships. God says, "My child, loyalty is a gift you possess naturally, but now it must be paired with wisdom." Wisdom asks questions silently before giving trust fully. Wisdom observes consistency before granting vulnerability. Wisdom protects your emotional energy from being drained by those who cannot handle your growth. You are not alone in this realization. Clarity is arriving gently. Your intuition is strengthening steadily. Your boundaries are solidifying naturally. The people meant to remain in your life will respect your growth. The ones who resist it will distance themselves automatically. Let that process unfold without fear. God says, "My child, as you continue to process this realization, understand that the purpose of revelation is not revenge but refinement, not conflict but clarity, because when hidden intentions become visible through patterns rather than dramatic exposure, you are being invited into a higher level of awareness that strengthens your emotional intelligence and protects your peace without forcing you into confrontation." There were subtle signs you ignored before, small inconsistencies in words and actions, moments where support felt conditional, times when encouragement sounded slightly forced, and instead of reacting immediately, you chose silence, and that silence gave you observation power. Observation power is not weakness, it is strategic awareness, and awareness allows you to move wisely rather than emotionally. Archangel Michael says the most challenging part of betrayal within family is not the action itself but the shock of realizing that proximity does not always equal loyalty, and this realization can shake your sense of security if you allow it to turn into paranoia. But you are not being called into paranoia, you are being called into discernment, which is calm, steady, and balanced. Discernment does not accuse without evidence, and it does not ignore repeated patterns. It simply watches quietly and adjusts accordingly. You are learning to adjust without drama, to create distance without announcement, and to protect your energy without explaining every decision to everyone. God says, "My child, there is growth happening inside you that some people around you cannot fully understand, and when individuals feel insecure about their own progress, they sometimes attempt to undermine others subtly, not through direct confrontation but through doubt, passive comments, or quiet discouragement. These actions are not powerful enough to stop you, but they can create emotional confusion if you are unaware. Now that you are aware, confusion dissolves. Clarity replaces it. You begin to see that your journey requires selective sharing, that your goals deserve privacy until they are strong enough to stand independently. There is also an emotional maturity developing in you that changes how you respond to tension. Before, you may have felt the need to prove yourself, to defend your reputation immediately, or to confront inconsistencies directly, but now you understand that not every truth needs public exposure. Some truths are better handled internally through boundary adjustment. Boundaries are not punishments, they are protection systems. They protect your time, your plans, your emotions, and your future decisions from unnecessary interference. Archangel Michael says when someone smiles in your presence yet carries hidden resentment, it reflects their internal struggle, not your failure. People who are secure do not compete with family. People who are confident do not subtly sabotage. Those behaviors emerge from insecurity, comparison, and unhealed wounds. You cannot heal someone else's insecurity by shrinking your growth. You cannot prevent someone else's resentment by dimming your light. The only sustainable response is self-alignment. Stay aligned with your integrity. Stay aligned with your discipline. Stay aligned with your purpose. God says, "My child, your sensitivity has always been both your gift and your challenge." You feel energy shifts quickly. You sense emotional changes before words are spoken. In the past, you doubted those instincts. You dismissed them as overthinking. Now you are learning to trust them calmly. Trusting your intuition does not mean acting impulsively. It means observing consistently and responding thoughtfully. Thoughtful responses preserve relationships that are healthy and naturally distance those that are not. As this awareness deepens, you may notice a shift in your communication. You will share less personal information. You will speak more intentionally. You will avoid unnecessary debates. This is not coldness, it is clarity. Clarity reduces emotional leaks. Emotional leaks occur when you overshare with those who cannot protect your vulnerability. You are learning that vulnerability must be earned, not assumed. Archangel Michael says growth often reveals who is genuinely supportive and who was comfortable only when you remain predictable. When you evolve, predictable dynamics change. Some individuals celebrate that evolution, others resist it quietly. Resistance may show through sarcasm, backhanded compliments, or dismissive remarks. Instead of internalizing these signals, observe them neutrally. Neutral observation prevents emotional escalation. God says, "My child, you are not meant to carry anger. Anger drains focus. Bitterness disrupts peace. Release the need to expose anyone publicly. Time exposes patterns naturally. Focus instead on strengthening your circle intentionally. Invest in those who demonstrate consistent loyalty through action, not through promises. Loyalty is visible in support during quiet seasons, not only during visible success. There is also a lesson about self-trust unfolding here. You are realizing that your instincts were correct earlier, but you hesitated to act because you wanted to maintain harmony. Harmony is valuable, but not when it requires self-betrayal. Protecting harmony at the cost of your own intuition leads to internal tension. You are now choosing balanced harmony, where peace does not require silence about discomfort. Instead of confrontation, you are choosing distance. Instead of argument, you are choosing adjustment. Adjustment is powerful because it removes fuel from hidden negativity. Archangel Michael says your resilience is increasing. Situations that once would have emotionally shaken you now simply inform you. Information empowers. When you treat experiences as information rather than personal attacks, you maintain stability. Stability strengthens your presence. A stable presence cannot be easily manipulated. God says, "My child, this is not about identifying a villain. It is about strengthening your discernment for the future." Every experience refines your ability to read intentions calmly. Every subtle lesson strengthens your boundaries. You are becoming wiser without becoming colder. That balance is rare and powerful. Continue observing quietly. Continue protecting your plans until they are fully formed. Continue nurturing relationships that show genuine consistency. Let actions confirm alignment. Let time confirm loyalty. Let distance confirm truth. God says, "My child, as this understanding settles deeper within you, something even more important is unfolding, and that is your emotional upgrade, because the moment you realize that not everyone who stands close to you stands for you, you begin to move differently, speak differently, and protect your energy differently, and this shift is not rooted in fear but in maturity, not in anger but in awareness. You are no longer reacting to every subtle behavior. Instead, you are observing patterns calmly, and this calm observation is strengthening your inner stability more than any confrontation ever could. The truth is, when someone betrays trust quietly, they reveal more about their internal conflict than about your character, and once you truly understand this, you stop personalizing every negative action around you and begin focusing on strengthening your own alignment. Archangel Michael says there is a powerful difference between being naive and being kind, and you were never naive, you were simply genuine, and genuine people often assume others operate from the same sincerity, but life teaches through contrast, and contrast sharpens wisdom. Now you are entering a stage where kindness remains in your heart but boundaries are firmly in place, where generosity continues but access is limited, where compassion exists but blind trust does not. This balance is not coldness, it is growth. You are not closing your heart, you are strengthening its protection. A protected heart loves more sustainably than an exposed one. God says, "My child, you have been sensing shifts for a while now, small comments that felt slightly misaligned. Subtle discouragement disguised as advice, occasional dismissal of your goals, and instead of reacting immediately, you allowed time to reveal consistency. Consistency reveals truth more clearly than isolated incidents. Now you see the pattern. And seeing the pattern does not require drama. It requires decision. Your decision may not be loud. It may simply be less sharing, less explaining, less emotional investment. That is wisdom in motion. There is also something important about your evolution that cannot be ignored. You are stepping into a higher version of yourself, and when someone remains comfortable in an older dynamic, your growth can feel threatening to them. Growth disrupts familiarity. Familiarity makes people comfortable. When you grow, dynamics shift, and some individuals struggle with that shift because it challenges their position or their perception of control. This does not mean you shrink. It means you stand firm in your development while allowing others to adjust or distance themselves naturally. Archangel Michael says emotional independence is becoming one of your strongest traits. You are less dependent on constant approval. You are less affected by subtle criticism. You are more focused on internal validation. When your confidence comes from within, external betrayal loses its power to destabilize you. It may disappoint you briefly, but it does not define you. You are learning to separate your worth from others' behavior. God says, "My child, do not rush to expose, accuse, or prove." Time reveals everything without force. Your job is not to create drama, your job is to maintain clarity. Clarity allows you to navigate future interactions strategically. Strategy prevents repeated emotional losses. You are now evaluating trust gradually instead of instantly. You are observing actions over time instead of believing words immediately. This shift protects your future peace. There is strength in silence. Silence allows observation. Silence allows processing. Silence allows recalibration. You do not need to announce every realization. You do not need to defend every boundary publicly. Quiet adjustment often speaks louder than confrontation. When you reduce access, patterns adjust naturally. Those who genuinely care will respect your space. Those who resist it reveal themselves without your intervention. Archangel Michael says this situation is refining your discernment for all areas of life, not only family. You are becoming more selective with partnerships, friendships, collaborations, and commitments. You are asking deeper questions before investing emotionally. You are recognizing energy shifts quickly. This sharpened discernment is not suspicion, it is awareness strengthened by experience. God says, "My child, resentment is optional. Awareness is essential. Choose awareness without resentment." When you release resentment, you free yourself from emotional attachment to the betrayal. You see it as information rather than trauma. Information guides decisions. Trauma traps energy. You are choosing guidance over entrapment. Your loyalty remains one of your greatest qualities, but now it is paired with wisdom. Wisdom ensures that loyalty is given to those who demonstrate consistency, not those who simply claim connection. Connection alone does not guarantee loyalty. Character guarantees loyalty. And character reveals itself through repeated behavior, not occasional gestures. Archangel Michael says your peace is more valuable than proving a point. Your growth is more important than winning arguments. Your alignment is more powerful than exposing hidden motives. Stay aligned. Stay steady. Stay observant. Let actions continue to reveal alignment naturally. God says, "My child, the clarity you are receiving is a blessing, because it prepares you for higher responsibilities and stronger relationships. When you elevate, you cannot carry hidden negativity with you. Awareness allows you to release quietly and move forward confidently. Trust yourself. Trust your instincts. Trust your growth." God says, "My child, as this final layer of understanding settles into your heart, you must recognize that the greatest transformation taking place is not the exposure of someone else's hidden intentions, but the strengthening of your inner foundation, because when truth becomes visible, it does not come to break you, it comes to build you into someone wiser, calmer, and more emotionally sovereign than ever before. What once might have shaken your confidence now only sharpens your perception. What once might have triggered immediate confrontation now invites quiet adjustment. You are no longer operating from impulse, you are operating from awareness, and awareness creates power without noise." Archangel Michael says betrayal within family carries a unique weight because family represents familiarity, shared history, and emotional roots, yet even within close circles, human insecurity, comparison, and unhealed wounds can distort loyalty. And when you finally see that distortion clearly, you are not meant to feel hatred, you are meant to feel release. Release of unrealistic expectations. Release of blind trust. Release of the assumption that proximity guarantees purity. This release is not loss, it is refinement. You are refining your standards. You are refining who receives your trust. You are refining how much access people have to your personal growth. God says, "My child, your growth has created contrast, and contrast reveals character." When you began focusing more seriously on your goals, when your discipline increased, when your confidence became visible, certain dynamics shifted. Some individuals celebrated quietly. Others felt challenged internally. Growth has a way of illuminating insecurity in those who are not ready to evolve alongside you. Their reaction is not a measure of your wrongdoing, it is a reflection of their internal battle. Understanding this frees you from self-blame. You are not responsible for someone else's discomfort with your progress. There is a maturity in you now that did not exist before. You no longer rush to defend yourself at every misunderstanding. You no longer seek approval from those who question your path. You have realized that not every opinion requires response. Silence has become your filter. Boundaries have become your shield. Focus has become your priority. These shifts are signs of elevation, not isolation. Elevated thinking requires selective interaction. Archangel Michael says emotional mastery is being built within you through this experience. Emotional mastery does not mean you feel nothing, it means you process deeply without reacting destructively. You may have felt disappointment. You may have felt confusion. But instead of exploding or withdrawing completely, you reflected. Reflection builds clarity. Clarity builds control. Control builds stability. Stability protects your future decisions. God says, "My child, trust is not withdrawn dramatically, it is adjusted gradually." You are learning that trust must be measured, not assumed. You are observing consistency before revealing vulnerability. You are paying attention to actions more than words. This adjustment ensures that your energy is invested where it is reciprocated genuinely. Reciprocity creates balance. Balance sustains relationships. There is also a strengthening of self-respect happening quietly. Self-respect changes how you tolerate behavior. What you once overlooked for the sake of harmony, you now address internally by reducing access. You are not required to confront every issue verbally. Sometimes the most powerful statement is a shift in availability. Reduced access communicates boundaries without aggression. Aggression creates conflict. Boundaries create clarity. Archangel Michael says your journey requires emotional cleanliness. Emotional cleanliness means not carrying resentment into your next chapter. Release bitterness before it roots itself. Bitterness clouds judgment. Clear judgment protects alignment. Alignment keeps you steady when new opportunities appear. The more emotionally clear you are, the less likely you are to repeat similar patterns in new relationships. God says, "My child, understand that exposure is not always loud. Often it is subtle awareness that grows stronger over time. You begin to see motives more clearly. You begin to detect inconsistency earlier. You begin to trust your instincts faster. These skills are part of your evolution. They are not meant to isolate you but to refine your circle. As you step forward, you will notice that your interactions become more intentional. You will share selectively. You will listen carefully. You will observe reactions without immediate judgment. This intentional presence prevents emotional manipulation. When you are observant, you cannot be easily misled. Archangel Michael says this chapter is closing not with chaos but with clarity. Clarity is a calm ending. You do not need revenge. You do not need exposure. You need awareness and forward movement. Forward movement requires focus. Focus requires emotional freedom. Free yourself from the need to identify every hidden motive publicly. Let time continue revealing character naturally. God says, "My child, your strength has always been your sincerity, and now that sincerity is paired with wisdom. Wisdom ensures that your kindness is not exploited. Wisdom ensures that your loyalty is respected. Wisdom ensures that your growth remains uninterrupted. You are not losing people, you are filtering energy. Filtering energy is essential when you rise to higher levels of responsibility and visibility. Continue trusting your instincts. Continue refining your boundaries. Continue nurturing the relationships that demonstrate genuine support consistently. Those who align with your growth will remain naturally. Those who resist it will distance themselves without confrontation. This is not rejection, it is realignment. If this message resonated deeply within you, comment, "I move forward with clarity and strength" below. Like and subscribe if you are ready to protect your peace, refine your circle, and continue growing into a wiser, stronger, and more emotionally aligned version of yourself.